May God give you for every storm a rainbow, for every tear a smile, for every care a promise, and a blessing in each trial. For every problem life seems a faithful friend to share, for every sigh a sweet song, and an answer for each prayer. You and I have been friends for a long time, but I know in my heart that I've always needed you more than you've ever needed me. And I'll miss our time together more than I can say. But you know what? There will be a new day and eventually a new year. And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball. So this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good afternoon wherever you may be.
I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be.
Welcome to the show. You're one-on-one with Wesley Sports Guy here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and online all the time at WesleySportsGuy.com. Make sure you bookmark that site if you want to get social media links, the podcast link. Leave a 5-star review wherever you may get your podcasts. The link is conveniently located for you at WesleySportsGuy.com. You also get the weekly reviews, the preview of the NFL season. That'll be coming down the pipe shortly. Bookmark WesleySportsGuy.com so you'll be the first to know when that preview drops at that site. For this week's recap of the trade deadline, I want to go over just a few deals that I think are going to impact the season as we get down the stretch in the March to October for the postseason for a lot of Major League teams that had a lot of trades happening. But I'm just going to go over a few of them that I think are the most impactful by their teams, and also just a few that I think are going to be an impactful trade overall as we head towards the postseason in October for the 2022 MLB season. Starting with the New York Yankees, they went ahead and they got outfield help in 2 separate trades. One before the deadline happened, getting Andrew Benintendi from the Kansas City Royals. And then on deadline day, they went out and got Harrison Bader, a Gold Glove caliber, and I believe Gold Glove winning outfielder last year for the St. Louis Cardinals. So they shored up their outfield with the inconsistencies they've been having, and also a little bit banged up there with Giancarlo Stanton having an injury. But Aaron Judge still doing what he does. But this also prevents Aaron Judge having to play center field as he has been for most of this season for the New York Yankees. So they get those 2 outfielders. Benintendi also can help with the bat, being an all-star representative for the Kansas City Royals. In a deal that also happened before the trade deadline came and went for the New York Yankees, they went out and got a pair of pitchers from the fire sale that is the Oakland Athletics. Frankie Montes, starting pitcher from the A's, and a reliever, Lou Trevino, one of their better relievers in recent years for Oakland. Yankees shoring up that rotation, also giving up a piece of the rotation, Jordan Montgomery, to get Harrison Bader, but they feel they have enough there, also getting Frankie Montes for the stretch run to hopefully, in the Yankees' case, they get the best record in the American League to have home field throughout the postseason run. The Minnesota Twins were certainly active this trade deadline season. They went out and got a starting pitcher, and they needed lots of pitching, not just at the starting pitcher, but in the bullpen as well. They went and got Tyler Mahle from the Cincinnati Reds, and they also got all-star reliever Jorge Lopez from the Baltimore Orioles. A pair of deadline deals. They also shorted up with Michael Fulmer in the bullpen, getting him from the Detroit Tigers in a lesser-known trade, but getting Lopez and Mahle definitely shores things up for the Twins as they are clinging on to the lead spot in the AL Central, with the Cleveland Guardians and the Chicago White Sox close on their heels. The Philadelphia Phillies also looking like a good team that could be into the postseason as we speak right now. They made separate deals with the LA Angels, getting Noah Syndergaard, starting pitcher from them, and outfielder Brandon Marsh from the Angels as well. 2 separate deals, but they also shored up their bullpen, getting David Robertson for his second go-round with the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll see if this works this time for them as they shore things up for a potential postseason run in a stacked NL East. 2 contenders in the AL West as the Seattle Mariners made a big trade, getting one of the best starting pitchers available going into the trade deadline. Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds went to the Mariners with a bevy of prospects going back to the Reds in this deal, but the Mariners getting Luis Castillo to shore up their rotation with Robbie Ray at the top of it, the defending AL Cy Young Award winner from the Toronto Blue Jays last season, now in Seattle this year, along with the young phenom Logan Gilbert. That is a good rotation going into their potential postseason run in October. The other AL West team to make some noise at the deadline, the Houston Astros, went out and got Trey Mancini from the Baltimore Orioles and catcher Christian Vasquez from the Boston Red Sox, which is a bit confusing when you look at the Red Sox and what they did, potentially selling off other players, namely J.D. Martinez, possibly Xander Bogaerts. That probably wasn't going to happen, but rumors were afloat about that. But the Red Sox really weren't sellers, but they weren't a lot of buyers. But focusing on the Astros here, they went out and got Christian Vasquez to shore up their catching spot. That's been very inconsistent this year with injuries and lack of production for the catchers at their position at the plate. But Trey Mancini is also going to shore up that first base position, also could DH, could spell corner outfield if need be for the Houston Astros. One of the mainstays and one of the lone bright spots for the Baltimore Orioles going to Houston in his free agent year. A couple minor trades I just want to point out that I believe they're going to make a bit more of an impact than a lot of people are giving it credit for. The St. Louis Cardinals, even though they did also give up Harrison Bader, they did, as I mentioned earlier with the New York Yankees, got a starting pitcher in Jordan Montgomery. They also, in a separate trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates, got Jose Quintana and his reclamation project going on this season to shore up their Cardinals rotation, so that's good for them as they get to the postseason run in October. The Toronto Blue Jays went out and got Whit Merrifield, who can play a multitude of positions, and this, I thought it was interesting because really Kansas City should have traded Whit Merrifield 2-3 years ago at the height of his value, but they did get some value in return, not as much as what they could have, like I said, 2-3 years ago, but interesting enough that the Toronto Blue Jays went and made this trade happen to shore up any kind of depth issues they might have. As I said, Merrifield could play a multitude of positions, mainly second and the outfield. And then another trade with the Atlanta Braves. Minor note here, getting Raisel Iglesias and the entire contract being paid for now by Atlanta that the Angels gave Raisel Iglesias after his career season last year has been a dud so far this season. The Angels getting rid of that off their payroll, giving him to the Atlanta Braves in what the Braves look like could be a potential repeat. Not saying they will, but they definitely want to get back to October, and this is one way of them shoring that up. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering what is the opinion about the San Diego Padres and the crazy trades that they have done now. This is volume 3 of current GM AJ Preller's Trade Bonanza. If you don't remember, he did one way back when he first became the GM of the San Diego Padres, getting the likes of Craig Kimbrell, Justin Upton, Will Myers. It was just endless amounts of trades in an off-season not too long ago, and it fell on his face, and he still survived. And then the last bonanza that he had, which was now 2 off-seasons ago, getting Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, I made the opinion at the time that this was better for the Padres because they went and got controllable long-term starting pitching that was necessary for them to compete against the vaunted LA Dodgers in the NL West and the National League as a whole, and then it fell on their face last season in laughable terms. But now, this is it. This is it for Preller, his third and final chance to get it right with the trades. And he made some doozies, getting Josh Hader, all-star closer from the Milwaukee Brewers. You could also say, what were the Brewers thinking? I understand what they're coming at it on their side long-term. In the short term, it makes no sense if you're going to try to get into a long run in October. Milwaukee's probably still going to make it, but are they going to get any further than maybe a first-round matchup? Doubtful, now that you don't have a perennial all-star closer. Granted, Hader's had some hiccups this season, but the Padres get a stud in the 9th inning for a potential World Series run, because you only make these kinds of trades to win a World Series, not just to beat the Dodgers or to get to October. You do it to win a World Series. And then, of course, the big trade happened on trade deadline day, getting Juan Soto. Oh, and by the way, a potential, I had him as an all-star this year, first baseman Josh Bell from the Washington Nationals. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But the prize of the package, of course, everybody says was Juan Soto. You get him for 2.5 seasons. What they gave up to get Juan Soto is quite a bit, but it is a win-now mode for the Padres. Any other team in this position would do the same thing. Most likely 100 times out of 100, at least at minimum 99 out of 100. Every other team in this position would do it. It's a lot, but for a guy like Juan Soto, he wants to win, because when you turn down 15 years and $440 million from the Washington Nationals, I think it's maybe about winning more than it is about the money. And then to finish off their trade deadline trading spurge, the Padres went out and also got Brandon Drury from the Cincinnati Reds, who has been the primary third baseman for them this season, but he is a utility infielder. I believe he could play a corner outfield spot if need be, but he can also play multiple positions. That helps with the depth on this team, including what they had to give up to get Juan Soto. This kind of replenishes that, but it also gives them another big bat to help in the offense, which has been a dud without Fernando Tatis Jr., although Manny Machado is having a potential NL MVP season. But my opinion there with the San Diego Padres, they're going all in again. If they don't make it to October, it's going to be another laugh fest, and guys are going to get fired more than what happened last year with the manager Jace Tingler. It's going to be Preller in that front office. They're going to go if they don't even make it to October. But at this point, you make these kinds of moves, you need to make it to the World Series. So everybody's expecting that. Do I think it's going to happen right now on paper? No, I didn't have them in the World Series at all going into this season. But the Padres, you make these kinds of moves, you better start playing some big games in October. A lot of them. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below to get notified when all the latest videos are posted on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Bookmark westofsportsguy.com, all the social media links, the podcast link, everything conveniently located for you at westofsportsguy.com. NFL preview will be coming down there shortly. You'll be the first to know if you bookmark westofsportsguy.com and check back in frequently. Follow me everywhere you peruse on social media and leave a 5-star review if you like what you hear on the podcast. I will see you next time.